Today's top story from the perspective of someone who's there.
You are looking live.
This just in.
Not my beat.
Today it is our pleasure to welcome back to the show our friend Santana Moss. Of course, 14 years in the NFL playing receiver, now an analyst for the Commanders and the Command Center show. He also does a podcast with Logan Paulson, which is a very fun fact that we share. Santana, what's up, man?
What's good, Craig? What's going on, buddy?
Just getting ready here for the Patriots game this weekend, and that's actually where I want to start with you. I'm sure we'll get to the trades and all the other news that's going on, but you played Belichick a ton of times in your career. You obviously got him every year when you were in New York with the Jets, the start of your career, which is the start of his career in New England, and then you got him a couple of times throughout the years when you came to Washington. How is preparing for a Belichick defense different than preparing for every other team in the league?
You know, as a player, man, I never really dove in deep and realized the significance of the difference that, you know, his defense's approach was week in and week out. But I think now when you look around and just see how each week it just changes. Like, I do recall just knowing that depending on what you did offensively, he would find a way to at least eliminate what you do well or what you're going to go to and make you play a different kind of game. So that's one of the things that stood out. But overall, I was more concerned with the guys that I had to match up against, whether it was Ty Law or whoever they had in the secondary, more so than the whole defense itself. I'm looking for different things, you know, cover two zones, stuff like that of that nature to see when I'm going to get that man coverage or that man look.
But I think that's the thing that's so fascinating about him, though, is like you might get it, you might not. And if I'm like EB trying to prepare Sam this week, I've kind of made this joke all week, Tana, where I'm just like, I don't know, he could do anything. Like, I guess we'll look at what he's done the last couple of games. But, you know, if you're trying to scheme up something because you think he's going to play a bunch of two-man, you might wind up seeing cover 3 100% of the snaps just because that's what he felt like doing that particular week. And I feel like that's different than, obviously, most teams.
Definitely going to keep you guessing. He's not going to never show his hands. You know, he's going to send you different looks, give you different looks, make you think he's coming at times when he have you thinking he's coming, then he drop back and make you read. I mean, it's going to always be something different. That's why it's one of those games where you kind of, if I'm a guy on a team on the offensive side of the ball, or even EB, I'm just thinking like, hey, he's going to make my young quarterback think. So what can I do to put him in a situation where even regardless of what he presents us, I have something ready for it. You know what I mean? Like if it's going to be pressure, have a play design where he can get the ball out of his hand regardless right now because we're in a quick pass game. Or if he show us pressure and then drop back and make me read, have something. You know what I mean? You just got to make sure, and it's not going to always be clear cut or easy or that easy, I mean. But I just hope, you know, going forward, I'm hoping that we can honestly see a little more out of our quarterback up to this point and the OC, you know, as far as just being more ready when it comes to it, because I don't want to see another game like I saw when I sat there and watched them play against the Giants.
Right, and there's definitely high potential that the Giants game, the Buffalo game, that Belichick could scheme something up that looks like that if we're not careful. Santana Moss with us here on the Hoffman Show. One of the big one of the big components of this offense when the quick game is going, the quick screens and stuff, is Curtis Samuel. He's out this weekend, but Jamison Crowder looks like he's ready to step right in based off what he did last week. How confident are you in JC to be able to not have a huge drop off based off what Curtis was doing so far this year?
Hey man, you know what? I love what I saw from Jamison last week, man, and it was crazy because we had him on the Players Club, me in London, and we just kind of mentioned some of the things that he was doing, you know, special teams wise, and just how key that was for him to have the plays that he made on special teams this year already. And you know, I've been in those shoes of being a veteran in this league and knowing like, hey, you got to take advantage of your opportunity. So I love the space that he's in. He understands, you know, his role, but he's prepared. And that's one of the things about a guy like Jamison or guys like Jamison around the league. You know, I love the fact that they give older guys still those opportunities. And, you know, he's not that much older because I think he's only been in the league, nine years. But just he's still a veteran. And when you give him an opportunity to still be a part of something, you don't have to think twice about a guy like that. He's going to go out there and do his job and lead, you know, the best way he know how to. So I'm happy that he is the guy that we can go to. I'm pretty sure we have some other targets too, or guys that we can use, but I'm glad that we have a guy like that we can always call upon.
You know what's crazy about Jameson? I don't even think it's been 9 years. Like, I think it's year 8 because his first year was my first year. It's 2015. But the funny thing about Jameson is he looks like he's 40, and he's looked like he's 40 since he got into the league. So he's just always going to be the old young guy. Like, that's him. He's going to play 20 years, and he'll look the same.
Very mature, man. He knows what's going on,
is
and that's why he had the career that he had here early, because he came ready. You know what I mean? And that just goes to show you that it's great that we was able to. I think he probably was by far our best pickup this offseason. Bringing him back to be a punt returner, man, has really paid dividends.
No, for sure. And actually, you're right. It was year 9, but that just means I can't do math. 2015 was his rookie year. Santana, we've been friends long enough. You know I can't do math. I don't do math. It's not my specialty.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold it against you, buddy.
Thank you. Santana Moss with us here on the Hoffman Show. So obviously the news of the week is the trades. And at this point in the week, to me, what's more interesting is like, how does the team respond? What is kind of the attitude, and take us inside a locker room when not just 2 talented players, but like those were 2 louder guys in the locker room. And talking to JP yesterday or whenever it was on the show, he was like, man, the locker room felt different because their presence, those are guys that were chirping. Like when you lose a voice like that in Chase and Montez too, both those guys were leaders. How does it change the dynamics of a locker room, and who do you think steps up for this particular team to kind of fill that void?
Man, that's a great question, man. And I wonder. I remember being a Jet and being a young guy, and remember guys getting traded, and even, to my later years as a Redskin and seeing guys coming and going. Brother, honestly, you think about it at that time, at that moment, and be like, man, you know what I mean? But I think more so than just worrying about, the presence that's going to be missed, it's a next man up mentality. You kind of so used to this game having guys coming and going, you just out there, your mind goes right to the focus of, man, how can I be the best to go out here, version of myself to go out here and help this team win. And so I'm sure those guys are going to be missed, man, because I'm going to miss them just from the seat that I have watching them. But I truly believe, man, when guys like that, go on or move on, whoever was waiting their turn, now it's time for you to shine. It's time for you to go out here and stretch your stuff. So I'm happy for the guys that was behind those guys, Two Hills, James Smith, Williams, guys like that of that nature, and even the younger guys who probably was sitting back waiting on their turn. Now it's time for you guys to show your work. And when you look back at some of the games that was played without those guys, where I believe the 2021 and a little last year when we didn't have Chase at times, like you have to understand that those were the guys that was out there filling in, and our defense did well. So I'm just looking for those guys to have an opportunity and go out there and take full advantage of it. Two Hill, man, he's been getting in the games and playing phenomenal. He's been playing phenomenal all year long already. Yeah, I think he have about four or five sacks already. So I'm just happy that now he's going to get a little more burn, and we got to go. Like, you never want to see those guys leave, man, but you just understand the nature of this game, man. That's the nature of the beast.
No doubt about it. And last but not least, Tana, I think you can speak to this so well. On Chase's side of this, he gets a fresh start. And when you got drafted in New York, you had such high expectations. And, we've talked about it before on the show we used to do of how, like, that injury you had your first year really set you back with New York. You didn't get along with the receivers coach great. Like, there was a lot of tumult there. And when you got to Washington, none of it mattered. So for Chase going to San Francisco, like, what do you think this can do for his career?
Yeah, different strokes. I do believe, though, honestly, when it came, I looked at the situation with Chase, and I tried to compare it as much as I could with mine. The only thing about mine is at the time, it was best for me just for me to get paid to come here. They wanted me to stay in New York, and my agent didn't see fit for that. He was like, no, you're not respecting my guy. Just went out and had his first 1,000-yard season 2 years ago. The next year you blackball him and not throw him the ball, and he still leads the team. And then win a playoff game by himself and almost won the second playoff game. So it was different, different situation. But I will say this. I personally needed that breath of fresh air. Coming here was definitely a breath of fresh air. And I looked at it as the opportunity for me to, redo my rookie season because I didn't get off to a good start. I got hurt out the gate before I even played the game, and it was hard to climb out of that, space that I was in, but I did. So when I got here, I did everything that I wanted to do my rookie year. I did it here as a first-year guy for the Redskins in my fifth year, and I got that great start. So it's going to be great for Chase, I believe. I think also you got to look at it as a different team with different guys around him that's already our stars. You know what I'm saying? I think here when you look at our defense, Chase was, even amongst all the other guys we had on that D-line, he was that monumental like piece that everybody looked at to kind of make a difference. Now, when you go on a team, you got Bosa, you got so many other guys out there that he's going to be one of the other guys, and it might be easier for him to go out there and blend in and just go do his job,
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%, and I think that's going to be great for him, and it's probably good for this organization to get a fresh start as well, whether you're looking at that start as now or it's something that you don't have to worry about this offseason. So we'll see where it ultimately winds up for everybody involved. Santana Moss with us here on the Hoffman Show. Check him out on the Commanders YouTube page, Command Center, the Players Club, and then you're part of game day coverage as well, right? You got some of the shows with B. Mitch and everybody.
Yeah, pre and post game.
There you go.
Post game too.
There you go. So you got Santana then. Santana, always great to chat, man. Hopefully I'll see you around the park or around FedEx soon.
Most up, bro. Anytime.
What's up, kiddos? It's your boy Clinton Yates from ESPN. It's the Hoffman Show on the Team 980. Tell your mama I said what's up.